Alrighty, so as we start today, go ahead and grab your couple blocks, blanket, strap, if you have them, or some items that would help in that same way. So maybe a scarf or, household blanket, pillows, whatever you have. We'll come over to the top of the mat and just starting here. So I'm just going to face you, but you can face the short end of your mat so you'll be ready to go if you like, or you can face towards your screen, whichever way that is. So starting here and basically just Tadasana, all right? So I want you to just kind of rock on your feet a little bit forward and back. Just kind of bend your knees, take that kind of little lift and lower of your heels and then your toes. And start to feel the grounding sensation underneath your feet. Really activating the nerves and activating all the points of contact here, kind of rolling all the way up to your toes, maybe even kind of a nice little lift and lower, shifting forward and back. And then find the place where you can stand steady. So the heels stay anchored, and then you roll toward the toes and spread the toes out. Think of like a little cat when it's kneading on something, and just kind of really fan out those fingers and fan out the toes, and let the shoulders roll back and down. And let's take a few rolls of the shoulders, and moving that energy all the way up, that awareness up toward the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the back, even all the way up into your noggin. So start to feel your feelings, feel your feels, feel how you're feeling today. Check out how you're feeling today. Okay, and then just let the shoulders rock back and down. Palms can turn forward, and maybe even close your eyes for just a moment if that doesn't really affect your balance too much. And if it does, just find a little soft focus between your eyelids. So you might even find there's a little sway that may happen. And then see if you can kind of move, really, and I don't know, connect yourself. That's the right word. I might be lost for words this morning. We're going to connect ourselves with that sway and notice how much you're swaying forward or back or side to side. And then intentionally allow your weight to land in your heels. And then move your weight slightly towards your big toe, into the mound of the toe, and then separate your toes wide again. So that you feel this kind of nice connection all the way from your big toe mound to your little toe mound, from your inner heel to your outer heel, and right in the center of the heel. And then as though you could lift the arch of your foot just a little more, finding a little more action in your feet. Then drawing energy up the legs. So without locking your knees, but engaging your quadriceps, starting to engage your glutes a little more, pulling your belly up just slightly. So you feel this foundation that's happening all the way from your feet to your belly button or your mid-waist. This foundation is here to hold you. It's here to ground you, to connect you, to make you feel safe and secure. And find the space now from your mid-waist, up the side waist, up your back, all the way up to your rib cage, your sternum. And just notice how this space is kind of a little lighter, starting to rise and fall with your breath. All the way up into the heart space. Notice if you feel a little kind of shrug in your shoulders, or if you feel any tightness or tension around your chest. I want you to soften that space. And then take a nice big sigh out with it. You might still be holding on to events from the past. They may be events from long, long ago, or events that have happened in the past few hours. Maybe just the stress of the week before this. And I want you just to kind of relax into that space of your heart and soften the shoulders. And start to see if you can just let go a little more. So then as you rise up through the crown of your head, feeling tall, feeling long, feeling as though your crown of your head could just connect to the sky. And like the sky, just kind of notice what's going on up there today. So notice if it's a little cloudy, if it's bright and sunny, maybe you're feeling like it's kind of got might be a little chance of a thunderstorm today in there. That's okay. Right, just noticing, just observe. Give yourself permission to notice and to be okay with how you're feeling without trying to change it. Then as you're ready here, just let your arms relax. Try to keep your feet and your legs fairly active. We're just going to let the arms flop down by the sides. And then gently let your head fall to one side as you kind of lean into that side. Again, your eyes may still be closed, but if that's a little too challenging on your balance, just a soft little focal gaze. And then start to slide back up, inhale. And then exhale, the head starts to fall, the whole body starts to lean just a little bit, but everything from your waist down is still connected. So it's just from the mid-waist, leaning to one side, and then come back up, over to the other side, really just gently leaning into it. We can start to slide the other hand kind of up the rib cage, and then bring it back down. So we'll do that to the other side, the head gently falling, the arms sliding, the opposite arm lifting, kind of tracing up to your rib cage, and then back to center. And we'll continue again to the opposite side, just one nice fluid movement. Maybe now that opposite arm reaches up overhead and then starts to slide back down. And again, you could trace the side of your body as you're flowing back to center and then switching. Nice big deep breath in and reach it up. Staying strong through the lower half of your body. And let's take that one more time to each side. Lifting up. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, reaching over. Keeping your tail nice and long, your glutes slightly engaged. Come back into that center space. So if you're not already facing the front or top of your mat, we'll find that space. So take a big sweep up with both arms now. A little softness in your knees, or maybe quite a bit of bend as you start to gently fold forward. Nice flat back, and this is our first forward bend. So let's hang out here for a moment. Make sure the feet are separated about the width of your hips. So this is a good opportunity to take your fist end to end and just kind of wedge them between your feet, and your feet should, maybe your big toe mounds kind of butt right up against the edges of your hands. And that'll be about hip distance. Just let yourself hang, shake your head out, bend those knees as much as you need to. Hamstrings may be kind of tight, that's okay. Maybe try to make a little kind of figure eight with the crown of your head if that doesn't make you dizzy. Otherwise, just kind of let it gently rock around. Starting to slide your way up, continue to bend your knees. Slide your hands, we'll come all the way back up. And then inhale, sweep. Let's take that forward bend again, all the way down. This time rising up halfway, inhale, start to just kind of wave through your spine and then flow it back down. Inhale, start to rise all the way, feel the grounding through your feet. I want you to feel how connected you are. Exhale, come all the way back down. If you are someone who likes to kind of finish off each citation with hands to heart, feel free to do that. All right, I want you to really connect, find the space that feels right for you, and find the practice that feels right for you, because this is your practice. Just let me kind of guide you and give you some suggestions, and then you need to take what feels good for you. So we're going to take the hands all the way down to the mat this time. I want you to just step it back. Nice big giant steps, and almost like a little pause in between each step, so you get that lunge in between. And then we'll step the rest of the way back. So now finding your first plank. Maybe it's on the tall plank side, or maybe on the short plank side with your knees down. Slowly lowering elbows towards your waist, down through chaturanga, just passing down there. Let's engage the top of the legs. So maybe just pick up your legs one at a time, then place them down. Top of your feet pressing down, pubic bone pushing into the mat, elbows squeezing in. And then I want you to really engage your glutes And start to just gently lift your heart into a nice little cobra here. And we'll bring it back down. Press yourself gently away from the mat, lifting up and back into down dog. So in your downward facing dog, I want you to just take a moment again. First time here, so let's pedal out through the heels. Maybe shift your hips side to side. So I kind of do a little windshield wiper with my feet, and it really just kind of wags the tail here. And I'm opening up the side waist a little more, waking up those hips. And then as you find yourself back to center, inhale, gaze forward, walk or step your way all the way up to the top. Doesn't matter how you get there. Slide halfway up, just a nice little lift of your heart. Exhale down. Inhale, sweep up. Come all the way to the top. Let's go ahead and bring the hands down to the heart, honoring this practice. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, forward bend. Soften the knees as much as you care to. Lift up halfway. Stepping back. So if you usually step back with one foot, all right, well, obviously one foot, but the same foot every time, I want you to try to intentionally switch that. And come all the way back, finding your plank, whether it's knees down or knees up. Slowly lower down everything to the mat at one time, just as slow as you can. Inhale, top of your feet anchored, quads engaged, glutes engaged, nice little cobra. You get to choose how high you want to come up. Make sure it's within a space that is pain-free. Inhale, lifting up, pressing back into down dog. Take a full breath. Start to soften, kind of between your shoulders, just a little. Exhale it out. Inhale, take a look forward. Walk or step your way. Big steps, little steps, rock and roll, I don't care. Do a somersault, that'd be fun. Come halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale, sweep up all the way. Let's take one more. Hands go to heart for a moment. Just honor the abilities of your body today. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, folding forward. Lifting halfway. Exhale, stepping back again. Just pick a side. And then the rest of the way back. Inhale, maybe a shift forward if you're on your toes, or drop your knees. Lowering down. Inhale, nice little cobra. Could be an up dog if you're feeling a little feisty this morning. You want a little more power in there. Let's lift up. Pressing back. Inhale. Again, gazing forward, walking or stepping your way back to the top. Coming halfway up. Inhale, really try to lift your belly in and up. And then fold, come all the way up, hands reaching up, hands come to heart again. And just honoring this time that we have together. And inhale, sweeping up. Even though we're separated, we're still here together. All right? We're still experiencing this as a unit. So all of us are experiencing basically the same thing in a different way. So now go ahead and step back left foot. So here's where you might go ahead and take blocks if you like. Okay? And a blanket under the knee if you like a cushion, right? So dropping your back knee, left knee down. If you want cushion under that knee, go ahead and take it. So lifting your heart, you might flip those blocks up to a high level if that feels better for you. And I like to pull them back a little so I don't feel like I'm kind of leaning forward. So I just pull them up a little. Inhale, lift the heart up a little bit more, and maybe even contract your glute just a bit more, like you were going to drop your tail down. You might be putting the top of your foot on the floor if that feels good to you. To me, it takes a little more pressure out of my knee, but it might not for you. Continue to lift the heart. I want you to roll your shoulders a couple of times. And as you roll them back, really focus on the pulling back and down and pulling heart forward. So as we have this experience of feeling grounded and feeling connected, we're also going to kind of tap into that experience of kind of moving from the past to moving forward. So by pulling shoulders back, by lifting heart with love, pulling shoulders back with courage. And take another big deep breath in. And let's go ahead and move the blocks off to the side. Turn the toes under, lifting up and then stepping back. This time I want you to, as you press back, go ahead and press all the way back into your downward facing dog. You're picking up that right leg and lifting it up. Bend the knee, and then see if you can flip the hip open toward the long side of your mat. So if you can kind of push your chest back just a little bit, and maybe even look under your left arm just a slight bit, not straining, just a little glance under there. You might even see your right foot as you've lifted your right leg. You can always bend that left knee a bit. You could come to all fours. You can come to hands and knees if needed. Okay, so, but I want you to just straighten and bend that top leg a few times. So if you feel like you need to be in a tabletop position to do this, feel free to drop down to your left knee. Take one more. And then from here, we're going to flip back to the mat. You can place your left knee down or keep it lifted as you slide your right leg forward again. And then when we come back into this space, we're going to keep the left hand either on a short block or left hand on the mat and start to rise up with the right hand. So you're twisting towards your front knee. If you like a little extra here, you can lift your back knee, turning your toes under. Just coming back into that high lunge that you started earlier. It's your choice though. You could totally keep that knee down. So I want you to take another nice breath here. Then we're going to circle this top arm. I want you to just slide it back by your hip. Reach it forward. Come back up. And then slide it back. Reach it forward. And we'll take one more big circle. Inhale. Exhale. And then come back around. Go ahead and move your hand back to the opposite side of your foot. So you're back into your low lunge again. Lift the back knee. Step back. Find your plank. And again, it could be knees down. You could even skip this variation altogether. So you could skip this little kind of transition. Just lift the heart, but we are really helping ourselves to that energy of moving from the past, moving forward when we move into that cobra. Bring it back all the way into your down dog. So again, you could stay down dog or you might move yourself into tabletop. Put a little bend in your knees. And let's go ahead and take the left leg up. Lift that hip. And then take a moment. I want you this time, just go ahead and slide the left leg forward. We're going to drop the back knee. We'll come back to that side again later. Okay, I want you to drop that right knee. Grab a blanket, blocks, whatever you need here. So we'll go back into our low lunge first. Lifting the heart up. So make sure that you feel pretty comfortable on that back knee. If you're not comfortable on your back knee, you're going to not be comfortable in the rest of your body. So finding a space that can be supported and comfort, and maybe the top of your foot pressing down. I put a little weight on the top of my foot that may not feel comfortable to everyone else, so find the right space for you. Lifting your heart, checking out your front knee, always making sure that you've got this alignment between knee and heel, and not allowing your knee to move out past your toes. Okay, so just making sure you feel really nice and comfortable and safe. Big deep breath, lift your shoulders, pull them back. Good. Making sure you don't feel like you're straining or stressing in your upper body. Another breath. Feel that right hip flexor, kind of hoping that it releases here just a little more. Take last breath here. And as we set the blocks off to the side, we're going to turn the toes under on the back foot. Now we're moving back into that downward dog, so it's a little three-leg dog as you press it back. Then lift it up again. So now lift it up and see if you can open it maybe a little bit more than before. I want you to see if you can keep your right knee softly bent, just enough that you have enough, gives you more space here. Looking under your right arm. Maybe find your foot and wiggle it. If you don't, it's okay. Straighten the top leg like you're just kicking it a few times. So I want you to push out through your heels, straighten it, bring it back down. If your right knee needs to come to the floor, take that option. This can be a lot to hold yourself up here. Go ahead and flip yourself back around. Right knee can go to the mat, left leg stepping forward. However you want to get there. So we're taking our right hand to the floor or a block. So if the floor feels far away, take a short block. meaning it's flat. Okay. And then we'll take the left arm up. Notice your left knee, if it falls out to the side, nothing really wrong with that, but I want you to see if you can keep it pulled in for our intention here. And take another breath. If you'd like to lift your back leg, you can always just straighten that back knee out, taking a high lunge rather than low. We're going to sweep the arm that's lifted back by your hip and then sweep it forward. Bring it back and then sweep it forward. Good. See if you can turn your chest kind of toward that knee and give it a big reach. Then all the way around, last time. And then come back to center. Give it a little pause. So as you come forward, I want you to just step your back foot up to the top. And then find another forward bend. Starting to slowly rise up. So finding a space that you can gaze at in front of you. Okay, so you're finding a little balance here. So if that's something you feel like you might want support for, I'm just going to face you for a moment. So if you feel like you need support, find a wall or a chair, something to hold on to. We're going to balance. Starting on your right leg, I want you to just find a focal point. So if you can try to only listen without watching, that's helpful, because watching me may throw your balance off. Okay, or just take a look and then look away. All right, so balancing on our right foot, separate the toes. Find that same Tadasana or mountain right here on your right side. And pull up, get tall. I want you just to step your left foot slightly forward. So just a little toe tap here. Inhale, gaze out, find a focal point. Pull up through your belly, get strong. And then start to slowly lift that left leg up. When you lift it up, notice if you're leaning back. And I want you to shift your chest forward a little bit. See, there went my balance. All right, so now see if you can take hold underneath the leg. Still focusing, finding that place in front of you. Very nice. So from here, let's see if maybe we can slide the leg up a little bit, maybe gently come forward. And then we'll just come right back up to standing. Inhale. Exhale, a little gentle pulse as you pull up and move forward. And one more. You don't have to come all the way to your thigh or anything. Just maybe a gentle leaning, stretching your low back and balancing. Let's switch. Place that foot down. Get your balance on the left side. Okay. Shoulders back. Pull up. This is very strong on your core. Start to float that right foot, finding your balance point. Maybe take hold behind it. Inhale. Exhale, gently coming forward. And release, inhale. Exhale, come forward. And back to center, one more. Exhale, pull belly in deeply. And then releasing, very nice. Set it down. And we're back at the top of our mat. And sweeping the arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Lifting, sliding halfway up. Go ahead and step back with the left foot. Nice big high lunge. Maybe just fingertips to the floor for now. We're going to move out of this lunge pretty quick. We're going to take the right leg, sweep it back, but we're finding that same three-leg dog again, or left knee to the floor for table. Okay, so you can always drop your left knee. Otherwise, we're going to go back into a three-leg dog, lifting right knee up. So it would look like this if you were down on the mat. Lifting your right hip, flipping it open. And again, you can stay here or knee down. I want you to pump that leg again. Just let your heel kind of land back behind you and then reach through it. One last time. Go ahead and flip back to the mat if you're not already. We're going to slide that right leg back up to the top. Maybe it needs a little help getting there. It might get stuck. It's okay. I want you to find some cushion for your knee again if you like it. We're going to place both hands on the inside. So both hands are on the inside of your right foot. We're going to walk the right foot over just a little bit toward the right edge of your mat. Give yourself some room here. So it would look, rather than being so narrow, we're going to walk it over a little and give ourselves some space. Right? If you want those blocks underneath your hands, you could take that at any level. So maybe being up high feels better for you, especially to start. If you happen to have yoga bolsters or anything like that nearby, you can also take that as a prop to use here. Okay, so I want both, go ahead and make sure both of your hands are on the inside of that leg. And then as you start to move yourself forward, whether it's on the high blocks or you start to move them down, going into that low dragon, just down to the inside of that leg. So find a space that's, you know, I wouldn't say necessarily comfortable, but not painful. So we don't want pain, but we may not be quite comfortable. We might be in a space where your mind is asking you, why am I here? And how long is it going to be? So I want you to try to breathe through that thought process. Just breathe through it. Tell yourself, it doesn't really matter how long I'm here. It's how do I feel while I'm here? We have to trust the process. Try to relax through your shoulders, maybe sway your head a few times, side to side. And whenever you come to a space where you feel pretty relaxed in your upper body, just stay there. Taking about 3 more deep rounds of breath, and on every exhale, maybe see if you can let a little more out. So let a little energy out by just sighing it out through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale it out. One more. Like you're breathing fire out. And we'll come back up, starting to gently just walk yourself up. You can set your blocks on either side of that front foot. Walk it back in just maybe a step or so. So now we're just in our basic little high lunge here. So I want you to come back into little half split. Just straighten that leg out. It should feel pretty good. And move forward. So we'll just gently go forward and back a couple of times. Press it back. And last one. So as you come back into center space, back into that low lunge, just place your right hand along the inside or your right elbow on the thigh. So I'm going to move this block. All right, so your right elbow on the thigh or right hand on the block on the inside. Either way. Left hand can go to the hip. We're going to lift the left side back, just pull back. You might even slide your foot back behind you a little bit more, depending on how that feels for you. So we're just moving into a nice little open position, much like it would be if we were in side angle pose if our knee was lifted. Okay, so spinning around, left shoulder pulling back, left side waist pulling back, right knee pushing gently over to the side. If you like a little extra stretch, you can take that left arm up, much like we did at the very beginning, and just reach it out. We'll take another breath. And then come back around to center. Go ahead and spin yourself back around. So if you need your blocks to do that with a little help, take the blocks, spin back around to center. We'll just set them off to the side. Take that right leg back as you turn your toes under. Let's straighten it out. Oh, give it a little wiggle. You might be still on the knee for a little tabletop, or you can come back into your down dog. I like to gently just open it again and then bring it back down. So we'll take that to the opposite side. Left leg lifting up, bend the knee. Start to flip the hip open, meaning you're turning your belly button to long edge of your mat. So I want you to try to turn your body. Okay, and at first your shoulders will turn with you. Just see if you can kind of look under your right arm. Just straighten your shoulders out a little. Let's bend and straighten. So again, this can be on tabletop. So you are in tabletop position. You don't have to be in down dog. And let's go ahead and come back around to center. Sweep your left leg forward, and you can place it all the way over to the outside of your left hand. So you don't even have to worry about moving it over. So we'll just start in that kind of nice low lunge. So again, hands can be lifted. Help your foot if it got stuck. just make whatever adjustments are necessary to get yourself in the space that's right for you. Plenty of cushion on your back knee. You can be lifted up a little higher to start if you like, or your hands can be on the mat. As you take a few breaths, start to see if you can maybe descend forward a little bit more. Resting your elbows, your forearms, or maybe just staying up high on your hands, but just gently kind of leaning into it. Deep breaths. Once again, just if your mind is kind of wandering around and it doesn't really feel comfortable, but it's not painful, it's just a discomfort in a way that's like, ooh, something's happening and I don't know if I like it. Just stay with it for a few breaths and see how you feel, right? Because that's really how we practice our yoga off of our mat, is we learn to sit with discomfort, dis-ease for just a bit, and then we find a way that we can move through it rather than avoid it. Because avoiding usually just brings it back around and causes just a few more things to add on. So I want you to just face it. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Exhale it out like a fire dragon. Take another big deep breath. Let's take one more together. So then taking a moment here, starting to come up. As you walk up, you're going to take your left hand either right there on the inside on a tall block, or left elbow on your thigh. Right hand's going to move back to your right hip. You start to lift your right shoulder, right side of your body, and pull it back, and your right foot might need to slide a little with you. So we're opening up the hips toward the right long edge of your mat, and just pulling back, opening up. Start to notice if you put a lot of weight on your knee, and then see if you can shift toward that front leg, maybe a little bit, depending on how it feels to your inner thigh. If you like a little extra to reach with your side waist, lift the top arm. Take last full breath. Move back around. So finding a way that you can get yourself back into your low lunge with arms on either side of your front foot. Walk the front foot over just a little, and then we'll spin around and take a pause here. So inhale with your low lunge to your little split. And then one more. Inhale. Exhale back. And come forward. Take a pause. We'll set the blocks, maybe just right here to the side where you can still reach them. Stepping your left foot back, and again, give it a moment there to kind of wiggle it around a little, maybe shake it out. You could go to down dog, you can open it, flip it around, shift it around. And then we're gonna find our way into seated. So this is where you'll probably wanna grab a blanket and maybe just roll it up. So I have mine kind of flat now, and I'm gonna take mine into like maybe thirds at least. Okay? So just kind of make it a little roll to sit on. Everybody's going to be definitely different on this, so I want you to just be mindful and go to where you can. Okay, so what feels right, so you're going to take your strap, have it nearby on your left side. All right, so I say that, but it may, I might get it wrong. So, so we're going to take the right leg, so this should ensure that I get it right. So we'll take the right leg and lift it up and cross it over, just like you're crossing your inner thighs. And then if you can bend that knee, I want you to pull your heel back. All right, so this is our first variation. You can sit here into this kind of half variation of your legs with the cow pose or cow face pose, Gomukhasana. You could also take the bottom leg, depending on how your knees feel, and bend that knee and pull the heel back. So now just kind of stacking your knees. If you try to do that and you're like, no way, lady, fine. It's okay. You don't need to, all right? So just stay right where you are. Everybody's hips are a little different, so this may be just perfect for you right here, getting a nice stretch on your hip. Okay, so depending on how you feel, never forcing, just go to the space you can. If you feel like you're here, but it's a little uncomfortable, you can always wedge a block up under the bottom leg or the top leg. Okay, so just kind of always looking for ways to make things accessible for you. So I want you to take a strap or a scarf or something that you have on your left and just take that up and hold it in your left hand. So we're going to bend the left elbow. Okay, so like you've got a nice little chicken wing that's up here. Take your elbow, just kind of pull it in a little closer. That could be about as far as you want to go as well. But if you want the opposite arm involved in this full cow situation, we're going to reach the hand over and then flip the thumb down. Now slide it back behind you as far as it'll go, and then just bend the elbow and reach for your strap. Okay, so I'll flip and show you. So just reaching for your strap somewhere behind you. And if that doesn't feel right on your bottom elbow or your bottom shoulder or even elbows, whatever it is, then just stick with that first variation. Okay, just holding your top arm up. Nice big deep breath. Let's see if we can kind of shift our rib cage so that we're straightening up our upper body a little more. Pull the elbow back maybe a tiny bit on the top arm. It's keeping your head lifted. Very nice. Go ahead and take a couple more breaths. And with your next exhale, I want you just to release your arms in a way that's kind of like you pull the Band-Aid off. So just release them and let them go. Ooh, shrug them out a little, head side to side. You might do a nice little gentle forward bend while you're here. And then when we come back up, we're going to switch sides. So if you just unwind yourself the way you got in there. Maybe shake them out a little. So we've got our strap on the right, our left leg lifting up. I like to help it up there. So I'll lift it up as high as I can, and then I just help it over. Okay? Getting the inner thighs really pulled together. And then bend the knee. So you kind of pull your heels slightly back. Then again, decide how you want this bottom leg to be. If you had the bottom leg straight on the other side, I suggest staying that way on this side. But it's really up to you. So I kind of like to keep things a little even that way. All right, so we'll take that strap again. When you're ready, we're going to flip it behind us, just holding it. Okay, just holding it with your right hand. So taking that elbow down, or bending the elbow and then taking it with your opposite hand. Okay, so right elbow just bends like you're going to pat yourself on the back. And take your left hand, lift it up, and just hold this elbow in towards you. So you're getting a nice little tricep stretch, and a stretch under your arm into the lats. So if you want to stay here, stay here. This may just feel just right for you. If you'd like a little extra, you can turn that palm down and thumb down, rotate it inward, and then slide it back behind you. So sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders pulled back, elbow lifted, bottom elbow down as much as it can be. See if you can kind of wiggle your upper body a tiny little bit just to kind of even out your rib cage. It tends to want to bow over to one side. So just take what feels most appropriate to you. And our cow face, because we talk a lot about cat-cow, right, when we're in tabletop, but that's really more like the essence of cow. And this is cow face pose, so it's supposed to look like the face of a cow. You're like, what? How? I know. It took me, I think, probably half of my yoga career to figure that out. So your knees right here, down here. This is the mouth. This is the mouth. Those are the lips. These are the ears right here, your elbows. Cow face. So I guess this would be the eyes. Just saying. Okay. So go ahead and come forward when you release your arms, or you can keep your arms there. I always release mine, I think, just because it feels better for me. But whatever suits you best. If you like to keep your arms bound, go for it. Let's come back up. And then release your strap off to the side. We'll unwind those legs and shake them out. Maybe even a nice little Baddha Konasana forward bend, nothing fancy. Just kind of let the feet come together, knees out, take a nice little gentle rounding. as you're ready, I want you just to come back into this very nice seated position. We'll take a little twist, so taking left leg, crossing it over, hugging it in and twisting. And then come back to center, and we'll switch sides and give it a little twist. And then all the way back to center again. Find a space that you can roll back. We'll take a nice little stop or Shavasana, nice little quick stop there in Shavasana. As you roll back, you might decide that you'd like to bring your knees into your chest and just hug them in for a moment. If you'd like to do any additional reclining twist, maybe knees just dropping to one side and then the other, you don't have to move on my timeline, right? Just take what feels right, what's appropriate for you. And when you're ready, letting the legs reach out. I just moved that blanket I was sitting on underneath the knees. And then arms out to the sides. Start to connect once more with how you're feeling. Has the sky in your mind changed? It's okay if it hasn't. But maybe just taking these movements and focusing with your breath and finding a little bit more sensation of being grounded and moving forward may have changed the weather pattern in your mind. So however you're feeling, just honor that. Knowing that it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to be sometimes upset, sometimes a little anxious, sometimes it's okay even to be a little depressed. Sometimes it's natural, it's normal, it's okay. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to be happy. Just give yourself permission to feel whatever it is that you have today. And that knowing that if you sit with something long enough and you really are aware and you focus and use your breath, that you can be carried through any situation. Let your body become heavy. Feel yourself sinking a little deeper. The tongue falling away from the teeth and the jaw relaxed, the throat soft. Feel free to stay here. If you ever feel like you want to just stop right here for a moment, you can always pause. And when you're ready, starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle out the wrist and the ankles. Maybe even take a nice big full body stretch. And then as you bring your arms back down, knees bending, just using one arm as like a pillow or a prop as you roll to one side. And as we take a breath here together, resting for just a moment, letting go of anything that's not going to serve you today. Maybe even straightening your top leg just a bit, and then using your top hand to gently press yourself back up into seated. As we find seated together, let the shoulders lift up, back and down. And we'll take a big sweep up. And then bring the hands down to heart center. Take a moment to pause. And bowing toward your own inner voice, your own guide. And as I honor you and thank you for letting me share with you today. Namaste.